Good morning to you. It is 7 a.m., Wednesday, March 12th, halfway through Hump Day. It's 2025 for those who haven't been keeping track since January 1st. You know who you are. Welcome to ONNJ Mornings. I'm Ken Rosato. And yes, we are taking your calls at 888-658-0234, 888-658-0234. Partly sunny, a little cooler today, becoming breezy and cloudier later. Highs in the mid 50s, so a little chillier than yesterday, but still not a bad day. We check in with meteorologist Mike Vivetta. First check of the Garden State forecast. Buongiorno, Michele. How are you, sir?
Hey, Ken. Good morning to you. We've got a pretty decent day ahead. A little bit of a milder feel this morning, Ken. So it's a buongiornissimo day, right? Got a great day,
Mm-hmm.
looking fantastic. Plenty of sun early this morning, but the sun fades behind the clouds, like you mentioned, very quickly later today. So the temperatures you see now aren't going to go very far. We're already at 48 degrees in Long Branch. That's our typical afternoon average high, and yet we'll only add a few 2-3 degrees to that to reach today's high there. With temperatures in Morristown starting off at 43, still chilly in Sussex at 37. A little bit of sunshine this morning and a little bit of a gusty breeze. That's a change coming from the north, making for a cooler feel throughout this afternoon. Temperatures are a solid 7 to 16 degrees warmer than this time yesterday. We're at the same temperature in Newark at 7:01 this morning compared to a minute after 7 yesterday. But again, lots of clear sky to start the day, and then the clouds quickly roll in through the course of the late morning and early afternoon. You already see them entering the picture here from the north, sliding on down across southern New Jersey throughout the rest of today. And with that, the futurecast shows a thickening cloud deck. By 1 o'clock, temperatures only reaching, the upper 40s in Hackensack. Much cooler today compared to yesterday. I think we'll make it to 50 in Mount Holly and 54 in Camden, but it's that northeasterly breeze that pulls in the clouds, keeps the coastal neighborhoods cooler, falling back to 40 by 4 o'clock this afternoon on LBI, and the chill settles in into this evening. There's even a little bit of spotty showers and rain that comes in overnight, some of which could be frozen briefly. We're talking maybe an hour or two. I mean, if you blink, you miss it. And then it's gone by the morning rush tomorrow. But notice tomorrow's temperatures in the 30s across the state and staying in the 30s and low 40s throughout Thursday afternoon. So a big change in temperatures, especially for the cooler side, given how warm it's been over the last few days. But this is typical of March. We get a few days of gorgeous, sunny, 70-degree weather, and then we're sucked in with the clouds and 40s for the next several days. That's the case, at least for the 3-day forecast. Keeping it chilly throughout tomorrow and Friday, struggling to make it back into the 50s. But Saturday sees a little bit of a warming trend, even though the overcast skies linger into the weekend. And then there's a very windy but cloudy Sunday on tap. We'll give you those details, Ken, coming up with a check of your next forecast in a few minutes.
All right. Thank you very much, Mike. It is currently 44 degrees. 7:03 is our time. A New Jersey husband and wife are, oh, excuse me. I have traffic. I'm sorry. I'm just jumping ahead, jumping the gun here. We do have, let's bring up the traffic cam if we could. This is Garden State Parkway by exit 148. That you can see cars are just slowing down a little bit. There is a crash on the Garden State Parkway northbound, just north of the Essex Toll Plaza in Bloomfield. So you see those cars going into the toll plaza right now. So when they come out the other side, that's where they're hitting the slowdown. But you can see it's causing a little bit of a ripple effect slowdown. This is again Garden State Parkway, exit 148, north of the Essex Toll Plaza in Bloomfield, where the accident is. All lanes are open, but again, causing a little of a brake check. We also still have that sinkhole I-80 eastbound, exit 34, New Jersey, Route 15 in Wharton. All lanes remain closed. Everybody been detoured off, and that will be in effect for the foreseeable future, at least the next few weeks. Now, the news, excuse me for that, at 7:04. A New Jersey husband and wife are in critical condition this morning after a neighbor shot them on their Berkeley Township property. Police say this happened on Monday in the community's Bayville section, a very pretty area. And they say the shooter, neighbor John Adamo, is dead after a police standoff with him. Prosecutors say Adamo and those neighbors, who have not been identified, had a long-running dispute. And the police say that led to Adamo shooting the two before barricading himself in his bathroom. When police arrived, they forced their way into Adamo's house. They say he fatally shot himself. It's not known what specifically sparked Monday's shooting, but as I mentioned, according to police, there had been some ongoing controversy between those neighbors. 7:05 now, a rally took place outside Delaney Hall in Newark on Tuesday to protest what will become the largest immigrant detention center on the entire eastern seaboard. Immigration and Customs Enforcement, ICE, announced last month that it would reopen this facility under a contract with a private company. Activists showed up and spoke at the rally, including Newark's mayor, Ras Baraka, who complained that the feds hadn't even taken any permits or gotten any inspections. He said they were acting arrogantly. They're the feds. Of course, the building is already standing. It had previously been open. It had passed all inspections. The only thing anyone has to do is do a little paint, so you don't need permits for that, good mayor. A similar battle played out in the city of Elizabeth, where the state tried to close a private immigration jail by appealing a judge's decision to keep it open. These challenges usually just end up proving to be ineffective against the federal government, at most only causing a little bit of a delay. That's about all that's going to happen here. And remember, Ras Baraka wants desperately to be your governor, so he will be everywhere, as they say at the opening of an envelope, making his presence known wherever he thinks he can get your vote. Just saying. 7:06 now. When will we stop performing gain of function research? It looks like the current bird flu strain that has resulted in the deaths of 166 million chickens and other birds and has caused the price of eggs to skyrocket for all of us may, not definitively, but may have been produced in labs located here in the U.S. in Athens, Georgia, and in the Netherlands, something those labs strongly deny. Just want to make sure that you understand that. They say it did not happen. But there is a paper that was published that suggests that this acknowledges the findings were not conclusive. But this paper that appears in the publication Poultry, Fisheries, and Wildlife Sciences in November of 2024 says that there was gain of function research with the bird flu going on originally in the Netherlands and then in Athens, Georgia. And they say it is possible, this is according to the paper, that it is possible that that is where the current flu strain, bird flu, originated. The virus is still spreading among birds and other mammals, including cows and small mammals, like wildfire. Zoetis, which is a pharmaceutical company based here in Parsippany, New Jersey, does have a bird flu vaccine that meets FDA standards, but it has not yet been licensed for commercial distribution. But hopefully the feds will get on the case and take the Zoetis bird flu vaccine and start giving it to birds, chickens specifically, so that these animals do not get the bird flu. By the way, that same vaccine would work in humans. They don't need a different vaccine. So Zoetis, a proud New Jersey company, brilliant. They came up with this bird flu vaccine, and I think the feds need to get on it. Apparently, the reason the feds have not automatically started vaccinating all the chickens is they can then not distribute them around the world. Once we give the chickens a vaccine, then we can no longer sell the meat beyond our borders. It has to stay in our borders. And apparently over half of the business that American poultry farmers get is outside of the US. They sell it to countries around the world. So that is the problem. They don't want to take the birds, vaccinate them, and then they lose half their audience. But you're going to lose half your audience anyway if you lose all your birds. 7:08 is the time. Looks like New Jersey-based Jersey Mike's Subs will sell a big bite of the company to the powerful private equity giant Blackstone. According to NJ Biz, a spokesperson for the Manasquan-based sandwich chain said the firm completed its acquisition of a majority stake in Jersey Mike's Subs January 16th, and the transaction was reportedly valued at $8 billion. I don't know about you. I'm excited for Jersey Mike's, a New Jersey-based company done good. Jersey Mike's started as a small sandwich shop down the shore, 1956 in Point Pleasant. The guy who's the chairman, Mr. Cancro, Peter Cancro, he used to slice deli meat there. And he eventually came back and bought that place and spread it into the chain that it is around the world. It has now grown to over 3,100 locations throughout the U.S. and Canada. Congratulations to my favorite sub, Jersey Mike's. I'm not getting money for it. I'm just telling you, it is my favorite sub. 7:09, it was headed to a wedding, and that is the word from local officials after a school bus crashed and overturned in Montvale Monday night. It happened on the Garden State Parkway, and all 15 people got hurt. One remains hospitalized this morning. The good news is nobody got killed, and the cause of the crash is under investigation. It was apparently a group of Hasidic people who were going together to a wedding, in Rockland County, and that's when the accident occurred. 7:10, a senior official at USAID or USAID instructed the agency's remaining staff to gather at the agency's now former headquarters in Washington yesterday and destroy all the documents. Doesn't sound too illegal, does it? The materials earmarked for destruction include contents of the agency's classified safes and personnel documents. There was no reason provided for the burning of the documents, burning and shredding. Some are suggesting that this is an illegal act and will be investigated. Customs and Border Protection, by the way, is going to move into that facility next month. It's still 7:10. House Judiciary Democrats are looking into whether the Trump administration is acting illegally in efforts to revoke the green card of a Columbia University grad student who's become the face of campus protest over the Israel-Hamas war. House Judiciary Ranking Member Jamie Raskin, as liberal as they come in Washington, released a statement saying, quote, all Americans, including those who strongly disagree with Khalil's speech, should be outraged by this brazen attack on our fundamental freedoms, close quote. The Trump administration moved to deport Khalil, who is Palestinian, for his participation in the anti-Israel demonstrations at Columbia. He shouldn't have been there, by the way, because he graduated and he no longer had any authorization to be on campus, yet he was still the rabble-rouser, showing up and rallying people to those big rallies. A lot of young, not too intelligent, not too informed people that he would rally together because they thought they were doing a noble cause. A federal judge ordered on Monday that the Trump administration could not yet remove Khalil from the country pending review, but he is in custody. Under federal immigration law, the administration can remove a foreign national from the United States if the Secretary of State, in this case, Rubio, deems that the person will cause potentially serious adverse foreign policy consequences, something that Rubio has already said is occurring. 7-Eleven, the Republican-controlled House of Representatives has voted to approve a stopgap spending measure that would keep the government running for at least 7 more months. Now the measure will go to the Senate, where at least 60 members must approve it. All but one Republican will support the resolution in the Senate, meaning if no Democrats cross the aisle to support it, a government shutdown can only be blamed on the Democrats, because just about every Republican in both houses is supporting this measure, and almost no Democrats. 10 did support it in the House, but so far none are supporting it in the Senate. And so if it goes down in flames, you got to blame the Democrats, because every Republican voted for it, with the exception maybe of one. 7:12. Okay, everybody. Sorry, I have to. Pardon me, but is that a turtle in your pants? Had to. TSA agents say a Pennsylvania man tried to smuggle a turtle on board a flight at Newark Liberty Airport last week by shoving it down his pants. No joke. It seems the guy triggered security alarms. The agent had to do a pat down. Maybe it was a pet down. That's when he felt something, well, unusual. The turtle was wrapped in a towel and shoved down the guy's underwear. Didn't cause anyone to be suspicious. Port Authority police took the turtle and will hand it over to U.S. Fish and Wildlife Services. Turtle's doing okay, by the way. And yes, it was a rare species of turtle. He should not have been carrying it. Apparently, it was his pet, he says. If you are wondering, they did let the guy go, but he missed his flight. It is 44 degrees now, 7:13. Partly sunny, a little cooler today, becoming breezy and cloudier later. Highs to the mid-50s, not like it was yesterday in the mid-70s. Meteorologist Mike Favetta will return. I'll give you your full Garden State forecast. Plus, we are taking your calls at 888-658-0234, 888-658-0234 as I glance down at the phones. You are watching ONNJ Mornings. Don't go away. We're coming right back. Welcome back to ONNJ Mornings for your Wednesday. I'm Ken Rosato at 7:16, taking your calls at 888-658-0234, 888-658-0234. Partly sunny, a little cooler today, becoming breezy and cloudier later, highs mid-50s. But the guy who knows the details is our meteorologist. Straight to meteorologist Mike Favetta with the Garden State forecast. Good morning to you, Mike.
Hey, Ken, a little bit cloudier today throughout the morning, and then a lot cloudier by this afternoon.
Hmm.
It's going to look gray around New Jersey throughout this evening and tomorrow and Friday. Maybe we get a little bit of sun back in the forecast for Friday, but the weekend, just straight up overcast, not looking very pretty. Very windy, however, and you'll notice those winds even as soon as this afternoon. They blow from the north, and that'll provide lots of cloud cover through central New Jersey from Matawan and New Brunswick with temperatures in the 50s today. It'll also bring back a little bit more of a gusty wind into the upcoming weekend. Now, the forecast wind gusts, notice they're from the north and northeast today, and whenever the winds are from the east, the weather is not fit for man or beast. That's the saying. And if you go down the shore, you will find much cooler weather, and with those cloudy, dreary conditions, it's going to feel very cool along the waterfront today, thanks to those winds off of a 39 or 40 degree Atlantic Ocean. Now, with the winds coming in from the north and east through Friday, we keep those clouds around, but then the wind shifts and blows in very mild air this weekend in advance of a thunder shower or two with a front by Sunday. Until then, weather's relatively quiet. Anticipate with the futurecast quite a bit of cloud cover developing throughout the course of the day today, with those temperatures holding in the upper 30s and low 40s. A quick round of light rain later on tonight, working by northern New Jersey, doesn't last long, and then we're back to the clouds remaining throughout most of the day going into Thursday and Friday, and temperatures stay in the 40s, so it's going to feel chilly this upcoming weekend. The overcast hangs low throughout all day on Saturday, but the winds come in from the south and west, pushing in very mild air. We'll be up around 60 with those gusty winds up to 40 or 50 miles per hour even by Sunday evening. That's in advance of a line of storms that comes through late Sunday night, and that could give us our next round of heavy rainfall with gusty winds as well for Sunday night. But I think St. Patrick's Day is clearing out very nicely. So luck of the Irish strikes again. We're back to clear weather to start off next week. So great news there. The weekend looking gray, especially on Saturday, pretty chilly, and then that rain comes in for Sunday with highs climbing into the upper 60s. So, Ken, it'll feel very mild this weekend, but the lack of sun will make some scratch their heads like, wait a minute, are we fast forwarding into spring? What's going on here? But we're
It's a little
almost
tease.
over. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
clearly
Almost.
Mother Nature is in the broadcast business, so it's a little tease of, hey, here's what's coming up, and then they make you wait. That's part
Whoop,
of the deal. By the way,
rip it right out from under you.
we should remind Mother Nature what happened to the broadcast business in the last few years. But by the way, today I should let you know, I love your chuckle. Today is National Baked Scallops Day. It is also National Girl Scout Day. Thank goodness the Girl Scouts still have a good organization, unlike the other Scouts, which are no longer called the Boy Scouts. What is it called now? Scouting America or something? Oh,
Yeah, it's something like that.
all right. So, and by the way, girls are in Scouts. And why do we have Girl Scouts? I don't know. That's another debate for another day. And it is National Christian Day. Not Christian as in the religion, but somebody named Christian, because apparently very few people are. So if you know
Oh.
somebody named Christian, today's your day. Don't you feel special now, Mike? Doesn't it
Well,
fill
I
you
have a
with
question.
warmth?
Was it baked scallops or bacon wrapped scallops?
Ooh, I'm looking at it. Yeah, it just says National Baked Scallops Day. So I would say you
Oh,
have a
okay.
choice. I would wrap
Okay.
them.
Cool.
Would you wrap them in bacon?
Of course.
I would use pancetta. Use pancetta and
Not
crisp it up.
well, right, but then there's you're losing that nice southern Georgia smoke flavor that is so quintessential to the American palate.
Our executive producer, Gerald, just said, I don't know if you heard it, he said, we need an Italian cook-off here. I think we're going to have to do that one day. As we get closer to the
Okay.
summer, we're both barbecue fans, right? Isn't it funny that most
Sure.
Italians, every Italian I know from Italy loves American barbecue. I don't know if it's something
Barbecue,
about the
except the
sauce.
sauce.
You
I
think
see
so?
all of the
Really?
relatives, they can't stand the salsa dolce, that sweet sauce. They don't like it.
But yet I have like a friend from Sicily who dies for it, who like when he
Yeah.
came here, this is all he wanted was that. But maybe it's a central Italian thing where they don't like it. I don't know. My grandmother was never at the barbecue. Whatever. But we'll talk later about that. I'm just going off on a tangent because I'm good at that. Mike, thank you very much, sir. We'll check back with you in just a little bit, I promise. And right now we do have traffic. Let's bring up our traffic cam if we can, Gerald. We still have that issue on the Garden State Parkway. Apparently, there's a crash. It looks like it's moving here because this is going into the toll plaza at 148 on the Garden State Parkway. You can see that's on the right side there right now, the camera. It's slowing down a little bit. What happens is on the other side of the toll plaza, we have a crash that is off to the side, but that is just north of the northbound Garden State Parkway. So that's why you see people kind of slowing down into the toll plaza. Not causing major delays, but it's just something you should be aware of. It's going to maybe cause a couple of minutes in case you normally don't hit your brakes there. That's what's causing that. We also have a vehicle fire right now on I-287 northbound, and that is south of exit 66, Route 17 in Mahwah Township. All lanes are closed there. So again, that's 287 northbound, south of exit 66. Beware. Try to use an alternate means if you can. We have a tractor trailer fire, 287. No, I just said that. They have it repeated here. I'm sorry about that. We have some delays now also on the Garden State Parkway northbound from north of exit. Let me just north of exit. It populates in front of me as I'm talking to you. North of exit 137, Route 28 in Cranford Township, for 3 exits to exit 140, Route 22 in Union Township. All lanes are open, but that's a 2 to 3 mile delay right now. And of course, we still have that problem on the I-80 eastbound at exit 34, which is route exit 34. I'm really having a brain issue here right now in Wharton. So it's exit for Route 15 in Wharton. That's going to be going on for the next couple of weeks. And right now, 30-minute delays going into the city on the GWB, 20 to 30 minutes at both the Holland and the Lincoln tunnels. At 7:23, the June 10th primary for governor is around the corner, and ONNJ New Jersey has invited all of the candidates for sit-down interviews at our studio. ONNJ New Jersey's Laura Jones spoke with 4 candidates this week: Steve Fulop, Ed Durr, Sean Spiller, and Bill Spadia. Take a look.
One of the number one issues is always the affordability issue.
Yes.
What realistically do you think you can do to address affordability? Because for as long as anybody's, paid attention in New Jersey, it is too expensive.
It's an expensive place to live. I think that you need to get that under control. There's a lot that you could do as the governor. I think that on the tax side, you got to think about the corruption tax that we pay. You got to think about the school funding formula, be willing to lean into that.
People don't even understand the school funding formula.
I mean,
that's an issue.
It hasn't been adjusted since 2008. And we were having a conversation earlier about special education. That component of the funding was supposed to be revamped in 2008, 2009, and they just never did it. And so that's a big driver of property taxes. I think Trenton does a lot of unfunded mandates, things that sound good that they deliver to the municipalities. That needs to change. And then when you talk about affordability, housing supply is a big part of that as well. If there's not enough houses, supply and demand pushes up prices and people stretch into something that they can't necessarily afford.
If you win the primary, if you are elected governor, what can you possibly do to help make New Jersey a more affordable state to live in?
Well, there's a multitude of things that can be done by the governor, and that's even without the legislature being involved. And as I've said many times before, governor has line item veto power, so you can shrink the spending, the budget down.
That's what makes New Jersey's governor one of the most powerful governors,
Absolutely.
if not the most powerful, is you can go through the budget, which must be constitutionally balanced, and then you can line item the vetoes.
Absolutely. So that makes you very powerful. You have the executive orders that you can do. And again, I would end sanctuary state, which is become a burden on this state, because with the sanctuary state, they've enacted so many policies that have given benefits to illegal aliens. Those benefits are becoming a drain on the system, and it takes away from the legal citizens who are living here. So it's kind of a win-win situation. You get rid of sanctuary state, you take away the benefits, you take away the incentive for the individuals to be here illegally, and you work.
What are your top 3 issues that you're out there talking about on the campaign trail?
Yeah, it's about affordability. We've got to make New Jersey more affordable. I say that as somebody, I'm an immigrant to this country, came here as a young boy with my parents, and it was always that promise, right? You work hard, there's going to be opportunities, there's obstacles for sure, but if you work hard, you can do well. That's only gotten harder and harder and harder. I see it as an educator when I talk to the parents of the students that I teach. They talk about their frustrations. I see it in communities up and down the state as I travel, and folks just saying we can't afford this. We have to make these tough choices. I can't afford that, and it's really a challenge. It's really frustrating when we know that as a country, we've got a lot of resources, but it's also frustrating when you see billionaires, just trying to take even more away from us. So. For me right now, it's making sure we're focusing on the big drivers. It's housing costs, right? We've got to make sure we've got quality housing that's affordable in every single one of our communities. Proud of what we've done in Montclair, passing the first ever rent control law as mayor. Really proud there, but it's making sure more houses are available to folks to buy. I say that as somebody who took a couple years to find my first home, multifamily home in Montclair. Those options aren't available anymore.
The cost of living, it's too much.
It's too high.
Is that what you're hearing? Can you talk about your issues you're running?
It's three things. It's affordability, number one, and that is both cost of living, but it's also the high cost of government in this state, where you've got our education portion of the taxes are so high, 50 to 70% of your real estate taxes, and it's unaffordable. The average tax is $10,000, and you've got an anchor program which is basically just throwing crumbs to people. I mean, the anchor rebate program averages $700 on a $10,000 tax bill. It's not sustainable. It's why 7 out of 10 moves are out of state. So affordability is a big part of it. But the other side of it is safety, public safety, and there are really two sides to public safety as I see it. Number one, the sanctuary state is unsustainable. Now, the sanctuary state that was pushed by Biden and Harris, and the doors were just opened by Phil Murphy, it's not just a public safety issue. It's also an affordability issue. We estimate $7.4 billion a year with the cost of illegal immigrants.
And you can see the full interviews tonight at 6 p.m. on New Jersey. We have more candidates scheduled to come into our studio in the coming weeks. It is 44 degrees now at 7:28. The phone lines are open. We'll take your calls at 888-658-0234, 888-658-0234. When we come back, meteorologist Mike Babetta says partly sunny, a little cooler today, becoming breezy and cloudier later. Highs in the mid-50s. A full Garden State forecast in a moment. You're watching On New Jersey Mornings, seen daily on ONNJ.com, Roku, Fire TV, News on Samsung TV Plus, Apple TV, YouTube, Facebook, and X, and now streamed live on Rumble and Twitch at twitch.tv/OnNewJersey. We're coming right back. Wednesday, March 12th, 2025. A very good morning. 43 degrees now at 7:30. I'm Ken Rosato. Welcome to On New Jersey Mornings. Partly sunny, a little cooler today, becoming breezy and cloudier later. Highs in the mid-50s. Meteorologist Mike Babetta has the detailed Garden State Parkway on National Baked Scallop Day. Good morning to you, Mike.
Good morning. You did it again. Garden State Parkway.
Mike has the Garden State forecast. I sure Why? And it doesn't even say Parkway. It says forecast. But
It's
I
funny
have.
because we've
Can we
made all
say
the
brain
jokes
fart
about it,
on
but
this channel?
cloudy judgment, cloudy, foggy brain, right? Because it's
Thank
all
you.
of the
Thank you.
clouds that are around today. It's kind of those. It's going to be one of those next few days, Ken, where yes, you'll need the coffee, you'll need the tea, you need something to get you going in the morning because the weather. Not really going to do it like it has been the last few days. We've had so much mild weather, so much sunshine to put you in that good mood, but now we're back to the gray, cool, cloudy afternoon with a little bit of a breeze setting up as well going in through the next few days. The winds that pick up, however, by the end of the week, they will be gusty into the weekend, specifically down the shore and even through Sunday morning. We'll get to that part of the forecast in just a bit. As far as today, a little more sunshine in southern New Jersey. Again, cooler at the coast with that easterly and northeast wind. But if you head inland, like say a little further west down the Black Horse and White Horse Pike through Hamilton, Glassboro, and all the way toward Camden, you might even make it to 60 today. It's a good possibility, given that most of the clouds this afternoon will be up in northern New Jersey. Our average high for the day is 49 degrees, so we'll be right around there in most of the state, given how now that sunset happens after 7 p.m. Looking fantastic this evening. Not a pretty sunset like the last few evenings because we'll be completely overcast by 7 o'clock tonight. Already a few of those clouds working in across New Jersey the last few hours, showing those shades of white on the satellite picture. And then the rain chances, well, they're low over the next few days, a few spotty sprinkles overnight. It's Sunday where that big thread of rain comes in and then moves out by early Monday. So better news, at least for the rain chances starting off next week. Rather dry for St. Patrick's Day. Much better air quality today thanks to that northerly breeze rolling in. So we're back at the moderate level currently. We'll be down by good later on today when that number drops below 50. As far as the next few days, here's that front that slides on in. We get another round of clouds with the warm front just kind of hovering off to our west. And with those clouds lingering mostly throughout the rest of this week, maybe a break on Friday, but predominantly we're overcast going through Saturday into Sunday. It's that warm fetch of air that comes in starting on Saturday. Might even have a few area sprinkles rolling in across the state, but it's the brunt of thunderstorms, that main line that pushes through later Sunday, that brings in our good soaking later at night. So it's a cooling trend from this point forward. Say goodbye to those 70s. It's all about the 40s and maybe just making 50 degrees each day. I think Sunday has a best opportunity for those afternoon showers and storms with that soaking. Monday should see a clearing. That rain really happens early on in the day. So by the time the parades get going, we should be looking fine. Sunshine lingers through Tuesday. And there is a cooler trend for the shore points with that easterly and northeast wind, clouds hanging low there as well, with highs struggling just to make it to 50 until we get to Saturday with that wind shift. A good chance of the thunderstorms happen Sunday afternoon and then clearing very nicely by Monday and Tuesday. So brighter next weekend, but it's going to be cool and cloudy, I think, for the rest of this week going forward.
All right. Thank you very much, mister. It's very appreciative of you. You know what I'm talking? That's my Italian. It's my little Italian American for the morning. I give you that. That's all I got. I'm trying. All right. All right, Mike, thank you very much, sir. It is 44 degrees now. It's 7:34, and we do have some traffic to talk about. In fact, right now, let's take a look at the Garden State Parkway cam. This is at mile marker 145, exit 147 of the Garden State Parkway. You can see it's a little slow as you're exiting. Now, of course, a minute ago, it was like bumper to bumper. Now it's moving, of course. This is in East Orange. That's the toll plaza right there, but apparently they have fixed whatever the issue was. So thank you very much, Cheryl, for bringing that up. It's like 30 seconds makes all the difference in traffic. We have a crash still on the Garden State Parkway southbound north of exit 144, which is just a few miles away from there, a few miles south in Newark. One right lane is blocked. A tractor trailer fire 287 northbound south of exit 66, which is Route 17 in Mahwah Township. We also have some problems right now on 139 lower level eastbound, east of Tunley Avenue in Jersey City. So current travel times there about 10 minutes through that area, and delays on 206 southbound in the vicinity of Route 512, which is Pottersville Road in Chester Township, about a 10-minute travel time through there. 30 minutes right now of the GWB going into Manhattan, both levels, upper and lower, and about 20 to 25 minutes in both the Holland and the Lincoln Tunnel going into Manhattan. And of course, still have that emergency construction on the sinkhole with that repair service going on I-80 eastbound at exit 34, Route 15 in Wharton. All lanes are closed for the foreseeable future, everybody being detoured off. 7:36 is our time. Now check this out. When we heard about this story, I thought, no, what else will they come up with? But they have topped everything. Imagine a doctor's office where waiting rooms are a thing of the past. Appointments, just a tap away on your phone. That's it. And your doctor actually has time to sit and listen to what you have to say. They don't have to get you in and out in 5 minutes. That is the vision that Amazon, yes, Amazon, that Amazon is bringing to healthcare right here in the state of New Jersey. Today, Amazon One Medical, remember that because you're going to need it on your app. Amazon One Medical is opening its first primary care office in Edgewater in partnership with Hackensack Meridian Health. And they're promising same and next day appointments and 24/7 virtual care. So you wake up, you're sick, you can't get to your doctor. The urgent care down the street is always a 4-hour delay to get in, right? You don't want to go to the ER. You go on your app and you make a quick appointment on Amazon One. So joining us now is Dr. Evelyn Chu, District Medical Director for Amazon One Medical in New Jersey. Dr. Chu, I want to give you a virtual hug through the screen because how many people wake up, they're sick, you call your doctor's office, I'm sorry, we're booked today, maybe we could squeeze you in at 4 o'clock, you go there, you wait 3 hours, you can't get in. This is brilliant. Amazon One Medical, it's of course a name a lot of people associate with package delivery, not healthcare. Tell us what Amazon One Medical is all about and why New Jersey is the next step for this service.
Oh, thanks, Ken. It is so nice to meet you. So Amazon One Medical is Amazon's primary care provider. What that means is that we aim to be your healthcare home base. So what we do is we believe that actually having accessible, convenient care at a low cost is something that's going to improve healthcare for all. And the reason for that is if we make healthcare convenient and accessible, people will be able to access their healthcare, build those connections that are the foundation for improved overall health for all of our communities. We're so excited to bring it to New Jersey and starting in Edgewater, and we really think this is wonderful news. I share your excitement.
Yeah, this is great because people are just fed up with. I mean, I whine a lot on this show. I had a dermatologist appointment about a year ago. I remember where I got there, had the appointment for 2 months, had the appointment all set. Get there at 10 a.m. At 1 p.m. 1 p.m. I'm still waiting. There were senior citizens in that office who were waiting there before me. They still hadn't gotten in. It was infuriating. I understand emergencies happen, but that's the kind of thing that people are fed up with. And that's why I think a lot of people say, I don't want to go to the doctor. I'm tired of that. And so they end up festering. If they have an illness, they don't get it taken care of. The idea that Amazon is organizing it, making it more accessible is brilliant. So now this new office in Edgewater is the first of 3, right, in New Jersey this year, with Jersey City and Englewood to follow. So what can patients expect when they walk into this nice new space, and how's it different from the traditional doctor's office?
Oh, I love that you asked that. So what patients can expect is an experience that's designed around them. So we really do work hard to make, I see these beautiful spaces here now, we try to make our spaces comfortable, welcoming, and warm. And as you said, Ken, we really work hard to make our offices work on time. Our appointments here at One Medical start on time. So while the waiting rooms are beautiful, you will not spend a lot of time in them as we start and end our visits on time. And that is to prevent experiences like the one that you're describing, where you have an appointment time and you show up on time and then you wait for hours, not just you, but everyone in the waiting room. So that is a huge part of what you can expect. The other thing you can expect as a patient at One Medical is that we also have 24/7 on-demand virtual care available through your phone, as you said, on an app,
Hmm.
which I think is really amazing, not just because you get the care when you need it in a way that's convenient for you, but also because that convenient care is connected directly to your primary care physician or primary care provider, again, making us your healthcare home base.
That's brilliant. So it's a One Medical app, which we're looking at on the screen. We're taking a look at the virtual meeting right there with the doctor. So if it's something minor, if you think you have a little cold, little sinus infection, something like that, you could just go on the app and have a telemed appointment. And I love the idea that it's 24/7, because how many times do people get sick at the holidays, right? Or they're on the road somewhere and they don't know a local doctor to go to, and they just feel a little something with their stomach or their head. Now they could just do a virtual appointment, 1, 2, 3, and have their doctor at the other side of their phone. Brilliant. Just a smart thing to do. So, how overall will this simplify healthcare for patients in general? And I think that the only thing that I'm concerned about is older people who may not be as comfortable with an app. So, my suggestion, if I may, is have your kids show you how to use the app, because once you learn how to use it, you'll be using it all the time, right?
That's right, Ken. And also, we do have a web-based service as well. So if you're not comfy with your phone, you can go onto the internet. And of course, we're accessible by phone too. I definitely have a lot of older patients who will call and try and book the appointment that way, and that definitely works. So
That's great.
yes, we take care
And
of
it's not
people of all ages.
And the price is, you have a small copay, right? You accept their insurance. So how does the pricing system work?
Great question. So we actually do accept most major insurances. We do also have a membership fee that is $9 a month for Amazon Prime members, $99 a year, and you don't have to be an Amazon Prime member at all. There's a different price. It's $199 for a year for membership, and that membership supports the 24/7 access. Without a
I
membership,
love it.
we still take your insurance. We'll see you in the office. We'll take your copay. It is very similar to other practices in that way.
You know what? I got the perfect gift for somebody, especially if they have a regular illness or that they're maintaining, or if they're older. That, instead of flowers or candy, that to me, and it sounds like I'm doing a commercial for you, but hey, if you need me, let me know. I think that's a realistic gift. Buy somebody a $99 year of access to Amazon One, a Medical One, I should say. That's a brilliant thing. And you have a partnership in New Jersey. I guess it's different with each state depending on the healthcare network there. But your partnership is with the biggest in New Jersey, Hackensack Meridian Health. So that's a key part to this launch. So how does the collaboration ensure that patients will get primary care access to specialists as well? Or I should say both primary care access and access to specialists as well as they need it.
That's exactly right. So we are a primary care provider. So what that means is all of us at One Medical practice primary care. That covers the majority of healthcare concerns for most of our patients. They come in, they have their issues, we see them, we take care of it. Sometimes a patient needs an x-ray or they need a specialty appointment. In those situations, we have a collaboration with Hackensack Meridian Health, which is, as you said, the largest, most comprehensive healthcare network in the state. And we have a collaboration that allows us to refer in a seamless fashion. We send referrals to them and they get us our results, our consult notes, our x-ray results in a seamless fashion so that, again, we've got coordinated care for our patients.
Doctor, how are you able to spend so much more time with patients? Because I know so many are looking at their health insurance, and that the insurance that pays so many physicians says you have 6 minutes per patient or whatever. And so doctors are, and I know one of my doctor's offices, literally one of the medical assistants is, Doc, you have another appointment, and literally pulls them out of the office. And I'm thinking, I just waited an hour for this appointment. I didn't even say hello to the guy yet. Are you kidding me? It's really infuriating as a patient. So how do you ensure that you can speak a little more with the patient?
Well, again, it's by design, Ken. And again, we are designed around trying to focus on some of these frustrations that patients feel when they're interacting with our healthcare system. We leverage technology to make our providers have more time face to face with our patients and less time sort of dealing with paperwork or what we'd call, desktop medicine. We actually don't have medical assistants in our office. So your primary care provider is the person who is calling you from the waiting room and bringing you to the exam room and talking to you and getting your vitals. And that's some crucial time there as well to just get to spend with your primary care provider.
What a brilliant idea. So now you've already bypassed all those other things. You don't have to come in after the medical assistant took the blood pressure, the temperature, and then look at the chart because you've done it yourself. Smart. Just that this is
Exactly.
why Amazon is the largest company on the planet. This is the reason. So how can people join? So you just go to your Amazon, can you go to your app, your Amazon app, and just join on there if you're an Amazon Prime member?
You definitely can do that. And you can also go to onemedical.com on the computer or on your phone. And it's easy to join.
This is amazing. I love it. And Edgewater opens today, right? And you have more locations on the way. So what's the vision for Amazon One Medical's future in New Jersey? Is the plan eventually to spread literally top of the state to the bottom?
We definitely have a plan to open multiple offices over the next several years.
Wow. Well, I think you got a customer right here, doctor. I'm not kidding. At the very least, I have two elderly parents who live about 45 miles away from me, and I would love them to have access all the time. So this sounds like a brilliant solution, as only Amazon can provide. Dr. Evelyn Chu, District Medical Director for Amazon One Medical. I'll say it two more times so people remember it. Amazon One Medical in New Jersey. Best of luck to you, to the launch of this. Thanks for being there for New Jersey residents, and thank you for joining us this morning. Hope to have you on again.
Thanks, Ken. We'll look forward to taking care of you and your parents.
You're very kind. Thank you, and have a great day. I'm really come back. I want to find out how the launch went and all. So I'm serious. In the next few weeks, if you get time, come back and let us know how things are going with it. Okay.
Thank you.
You bet, doctor. Have a great day. It is 7:48 now, 44 degrees. I love that whole concept because it just, I mean, not for anything. Amazon just does it right. They've figured out the logistics for everything. They let other people make the mistakes and they're like, well, this is the problem. Let's fix it. And there's the solution. Just makes sense. 7:48 now, partly sunny, a little cooler today, becoming breezy and cloudier later. Highs in the mid 50s. Meteorologist Mike Favetta returns with your full Garden State forecast. There, I said forecast. And also, we have the New Jersey Globe editor, David Wildstein, with the latest on New Jersey's political scene with the Inside Edge. And we will take your calls at 888-658-0234. You are watching on New Jersey Mornings. Don't go away. Welcome back to ONNJ Jersey Mornings for your Wednesday. I'm Ken Rosato. It is 44 degrees at 7:50, and we're taking your calls at 888-658-0234. Partly sunny, a little cooler today, becoming breezy and cloudier later. Highs mid-50s, not like yesterday, but still not horrible. Just a little grayer. Right to meteorologist Mike Favetta. Mike, I'm a little grayer too. We have the Garden State forecast.
Yeah.
Good morning to you, sir.
The weather is aging. And I think you'll be tired of this weather by the time we get to Saturday, Sunday. Be like, all right, it's been several days of cloudy, cool weather. What happened to those 70s and sunny that we enjoyed the last few days? Well, it's taking a little hiatus, going back down to Florida for the weekend, but it'll be back next week. I think we've got some mild weather. Right, exactly. Kind of like Ken. We've got some mild weather coming back once we get into next week. That will bring a very pleasant feel. But for the meantime, we only add a few degrees to the current temperature, ultimately reaching a high of 51 in West Milford. Cloudy skies for you in Sussex and Hackensack, and even toward Jersey City, only reaching 54 degrees. Currently, you sit at 49. So it'll be a cooler trend that takes over, not just for today, but for the next several days, lasting through the weekend. And while this weekend is milder, you see those storms that roll through on Sunday afternoon. There'll be a warm wind that precedes all of those storms, bringing our highs up into the upper 60s with a very humid feel. But once those storms clear, we're back to clear sky on Monday, and Tuesday is looking even better. And I think we'll see a nice warming trend back into next week. That'll feel very pleasant going into the next several days. Speaking of how dry it's been, our drought continues in southern New Jersey. Haven't seen much improvement there because, well, we haven't seen any rain. It's been very dry the last few days, keeping our reservoir levels lower, and of course the rain deficit quite high, especially in northern New Jersey. We've seen an improvement to the rainfall deficit in portions of central and southern New Jersey, but as far as the temperature goes through the end of March, still predicting higher than average temperatures. At least most of the Northeast is in that above average category through the end of the month, with slightly higher than average chances of rainfall through the end of the month. So looks to be a little bit warmer, maybe a little bit drier too. We'll take it. Given that we have quite a bit of cloudy, wet weather coming up over the next several days. Not necessarily rain during the day, but still a little bit of a shower threat later on overnight, tonight into tomorrow in northern New Jersey. And then we see the cloud cover stick around right through Sunday. A little bit more wet weather with those storms on Sunday evening, clearing, I think, by Monday. St. Patrick's Day should ultimately turn out to be dry by the afternoon. Those lingering showers should be done. And then throughout southern New Jersey, notice the temperatures only staying in the upper 40s and really chilly even through the end of the week. Turning milder by Sunday with that southwesterly breeze, but that just helps fuel the thunderstorms on Sunday evening, and then dry again by Monday and Tuesday of next week. And by the end of next week, I think we'll see a little bit of a moderation back up into the 50s and 60s, where we like to be, Ken, to bring out more people. I mean, walking around the other day around the neighborhood, walking by the parks, everybody was out, kind of enjoying that little nice spring fever that we've all endured for the last several days.
It was nice, but it's a foreshadow. It's something to think about for the next
Sure.
few days of gray that, we'll have maybe next week. You can't have it all.
And then the
Otherwise, it's like too
pollinating.
much. Oh, yes.
The
yes.
pollinating comes in shortly after that.
I was reading the pollinating, as in pollen.
Yeah, that pollen.
I know. I never heard the term pollinating. I don't know, but I'm thinking
It's that creative license that meteorologists use, the great pollinating that occurs every year. More CO2 in the atmosphere, those plants just go poof, and you run your finger on the car and go, what's going on here?
Right. Our executive producer Gerald says, and you can get your allergy shot at Amazon One Medical. But it is, I was reading, one of your colleagues online was saying that because of the extended cold winter, et cetera, a lot of trees didn't pollinate yet or didn't bloom yet, and they're all going to at once. And that's why we're going to get this huge pollinating, as you said. So
Yeah.
I'll look forward to that. Break out the Amazon One anti-allergy pills. There you go. You can get them at Amazon.com. Thank you very much, Mike. We'll check back with you, sir. Am I done with enough promoting here for the morning? It's 7:55. We have a little traffic to tell you about. Let's take a look at the camera, if you will. This is the Garden State Parkway. We have, you're looking at if you look at the right side, there's a crash off to the right. It's kind of hard to see on the lens. It's a little dirty there. But if you look, see the lights, the activity there on the right, there's a little bit of a crash. This is on the Garden State Parkway, southbound north of exit 144, Route 510 in Newark. All lanes are open, but as you can see, just a little slowdown as you go through that area. We also have a crash on Route 29 westbound ramp at 295 Hamilton Township. All lanes are open, but causing again a little bit of a slowdown. Tractor trailer fire I-287 northbound south of exit 66, Route 17 in Mawa Township. All lanes are closed through there. That's been going on for about an hour. That's a bit of a mess. And still have that emergency construction and sinkhole repair I-80 eastbound, exit 34, Route 15 in Wharton. All lanes closed, everybody being detoured, and that'll be for the next few weeks. It is now 43 degrees at 7:56. A New Jersey husband and wife in critical condition this morning after a neighbor shot them on their Berkeley Township property. Police say it happened Monday in the community's Bayville section. They say the shooter is neighbor John Adamo, and he is dead after a police standoff. Prosecutors say Adamo and his neighbors had a long-running dispute. It led to Adamo shooting the two before barricading himself in his own bathroom. Police arrived, forcing their way into Adamo's house, and they say he then fatally shot himself. Not known what specifically sparked Monday's shooting. 7:56, a rally took place outside Delaney Hall in Newark Tuesday. I think we have video of this we could show you. And this was to protest what will become the largest immigrant detention center on the East Coast. Immigration and Customs Enforcement announced last month that it would reopen the facility under a contract with a private company. Activists spoke at the rally, including Newark Mayor Ras Baraka. He complained the feds hadn't even contacted the city of Newark for any permits or gotten any inspections. Of course, the building had already been there. It was standing already, had previously passed all inspections, so I don't know what new inspections it would need. A similar battle played out, by the way, in the city of Elizabeth, where the state tried to close a private immigration jail there by appealing a judge's decision to keep it open. That didn't work either. These challenges usually prove to be ineffective against the federal government, at most only delaying matters for a little bit. And remember Ras Baraka, all due respect to him, nice man. He is running for governor, so he is subtly making his presence known wherever he thinks he can get a vote. Not to condemn him, that's what they do. It is 7:57. When will we stop performing gain of function research? It looks like the current bird flu strain that has resulted in the deaths of 166 million chickens and other birds and has caused the price of eggs to skyrocket may subjunctive there, not definitely, but may have been produced in labs located both in the Netherlands and in Athens, Georgia. Something, by the way, the labs there strongly deny. They say that is false, but there is a lot of evidence suggesting it's possible. Now, this information suggesting that was in a paper that was published in Poultry, Fisheries, and Wildlife Sciences, my favorite magazine, in November of 2024. This virus is still spreading like wildfire, and it's affecting not just birds, but also other animals. Zoetis is a pharmaceutical company based right here in Parsippany, New Jersey. They have come up with a bird flu vaccine that works for both animals and humans. It meets FDA standards, but it has not yet been licensed for commercial distribution. But you know, President Trump, from his last time in office, he likes to push things forward to get them moving. So I'm hoping that we can get this moving and get these birds vaccinated so we can get the price of eggs down and not have so much death going on. It is now 44 degrees at 7:59. When we come back, we'll take your calls at 888-658-0234. Partly sunny, cooler today, becoming breezy and cloudier later, highs mid-50s. Meteorologist Mike Favetta has the full Garden State forecast in a moment. You're watching ONNJ Mornings, seen daily on ONNJ.com, Roku, Fire TV, News On, Samsung TV Plus, Apple TV, YouTube, Facebook, and X, and streamed live on Rumble, Twitch, at twitch.tv/ONNJ. We're coming right back. Don't go away. Good morning. It is 8:01, Wednesday, March 12th, 2025. Welcome to ONNJ Mornings. I'm Ken Rosato, taking your calls at 888-658-0234. 888-658-0234. Partly sunny, a little cooler today, becoming breezy and cloudier later. A gray day. Highs in the mid-50s. We head to meteorologist Mike Favetta with a first check of the hour with the Garden State forecast. Good morning to you, Mike.
Hey, good morning to you, Ken. Yeah, we've got a pretty decent looking morning, but like you said, those clouds, they're going to roll right in by this afternoon, making it look very gray and overcast, specifically for later today. So enjoy the sun while you can. It's a pretty start to the day. Obviously creates a little bit of that sun glare you've been mentioning with the traffic reports. And with that very pleasant feel through the course of the day, you'll notice temperatures really not go anywhere. They'll hold in the upper 40s at best today, maybe get to the low 50s, but it's all about that gusty breeze from the north and the clouds that are rolling in as well. They started coming in last night and they'll thicken up through the course of the day. It is now 15 degrees warmer. Oh, just updated, 13 degrees warmer in Mount Holly at 8:02 today as compared to this time yesterday. So a nice jump, not exactly chilly this morning, but by this afternoon won't be as warm as yesterday. Here are those clouds taking over the last few hours, specifically in northern and central New Jersey, and then ultimately lowering in the sky and becoming darker and grayer as the day goes along. Southern New Jersey, there from Medford and south, even through Atlantic City, clear sky for most of the day, so you avoid most of those clouds into this afternoon. But it's the easterly breeze through the end of the day into tonight that helps temperatures cool off into the 30s, maybe even allowing for a little bit of frozen precip to fall north of Route 80. Beyond that, we're dry into tomorrow morning and then staying dry throughout Thursday, but cloudy, and temperatures hold in the upper 30s only, maybe getting to 40. Still the case for Friday, a very chilly feel as that easterly and northeasterly breeze persists. Possibly get a few breaks of sun in here by Friday, but overall it's looking more gray rather than not. The next few days featuring that overcast sky through Friday and Saturday, but there's a warming trend by the end of the weekend that will take our highs back up to near 70. Comes at a price with some thunderstorms later Sunday night. We'll give you those details coming up in just a few minutes with your next weather update, Ken.
All right, thank you so much, Mike. We take a live look right now. You can see this little bit of traffic we have. This is on the Garden State Parkway at exit 145 by the Sussex Avenue overpass. As people are trying to make their way to the exit on the right-hand side, you can see that's headed toward Newark. That's toward 287 East. And you can see that there's a lot of traffic there as you make your way off the exit. There's a controversial new development in New Jersey's healthcare system that's raising eyebrows and sparking debate. Some hospitals in the Garden State are now asking new parents whether their newborn baby identifies as transgender or genderqueer. Joining us to unpack this is New Jersey State Senator Holly Schepisi. Senator Schepisi, let's start with the basics. New Jersey hospitals are asking parents to classify their newborn's gender identity, options like transgender, genderqueer, alongside traditional choices like boy or girl. So what was your initial reaction when you heard about this?
Initially, I thought maybe it was a fake form. I saw it on social media. A mother who is in her third trimester had posted it saying that she had gone in for a routine checkup and she was given the form to complete as part of her birthing process. So I had my Senate office reach out and confirm directly with the hospital network as to whether or not this was one of their forms and whether or not it was indeed being provided for newborn patients, because it just seems so irrelevant and so strange to be asking whether or not a newborn is transgender, self-identifies as something else, is bisexual, is straight, gay. It just, the whole thing just seemed really bizarre.
This apparently, according to the hospital, was based on a new law, right? Or not relatively new, about 3 years old, that was signed into law by this state, correct?
That is correct. So in the last week of June in 2022, there was a bill that got quietly introduced only 5 days prior while we were voting on the budget. It never went through normal committee channels and was supposed to just amend one of our population health laws where certain information regarding demographics, ethnicity was going to be supplemented with questions regarding gender identity, sexuality. And for certain population ages, that makes sense to ensure that you're putting forth protocols and programs that are reflective of the community that you're serving. But there was no age threshold, there was no common sense utilized in this because it was never vetted and it just got signed into law. And the current Department of Health interpreted the law to encompass every age group, including newborns. And that's why hospitals are now trying to comply with the Department of Health guidelines.
Senator, don't you find it cute how liberals always know that if you follow the rules and ask people their opinion, they'll say no. They know that their ideas are ridiculous and can never pass muster. So they always sneak in their little liberal, cutesy, leftist, progressive ideas because they know that the majority of mainstream, normal thinking, average, logical society would say, "Are you out of your mind?" So they always
Well,
sneak it in without going through committee.
that's the feedback I've been getting. I mean, it's been kind of a blend where half the people who have seen it on my wall think that I made it up and it's completely fake, because I think people can't wrap their arms around the fact that this is actually a law that was implemented in policy that's been enacted within New Jersey, because it is so bizarre and so out there. And but I think most people, when you speak to them and go, "This is what we're asking of newborn patients," they look at me like I have three heads, going, "Come on, this can't be real."
Right. Now, the question is, what do they intend to do with this data?
Well, and that's part and parcel of it. What conceivably could this data be utilized? Essentially, it's asking parents to impute a sexual and gender identity on children, when the entire argument for the LGBTQ community, and rightfully so, is this is what an individual themselves makes a determination about. So now you're imputing something on somebody who doesn't even have the capacity to lick glue. And it's, why are we accumulating this information? What's it being used for? How accurate could it ever be? And it's just a complete resource of money and resources within our medical community.
These are the very same people, the leftists, who think that a 12-year-old has the mental capacity to go to their school and say, "My parents don't know what they're talking about. I want to have my body parts cut off." But yet they want parents to assign a gender and a gender identity to newborns, which is totally antithetical to what they're saying. So again, the illogic of the left. I'm sorry, I know you're trying to be as neutral as possible, but I just find
No,
it
I mean,
ridiculous, and it's
I
my job to expose the left.
I do agree with you. And the people on the left who have come out and told me that I'm stirring up hatred, that I made this up, once it got proven to them that it wasn't made up, and even the Department of Health came forward and said, "No, we have implemented this policy and it's a law and these hospitals have to comply," then the next retort was, "Well, parents should be able to, raise their children however they seem fit. So if you're a boy and I want to raise you as a newborn, as a girl, that's within my power and authority." But yet the very same people are making the argument that, a 12, 13-year-old can go to a teacher, say, "I'm trans, I'm this, I'm that. I want to be referred to by a completely different identity in school," and then parents should have no say. So the entire argument is flawed.
And by the way, I say this as an LGBT member. This is just ridiculous. So I can speak as a gay man. It's the most ridiculous thing. I actually mentioned it to my husband, who's in the television industry, and he looked at me and thought I was kidding, that people would be that ridiculous. But it is what it is. As a state senator, now you see this as something the legislature needs to address. What could they address? Will they go and correct or maybe update or tweak the policy that exists now and that was snuck in 4 years ago?
I have reached out to some of my Democratic counterparts who are more reasonable, and when I broached this with them and brought it to their attention, their reaction was, "What in the actual, you know what?" And so I have a bill that has been drafted that would amend it, that would specifically exclude children and take them out of this equation, and would allow for appropriate populations for information to still be aggregated if people so choose to participate in these sort of surveys, but would take any of the pressure off of our current health facilities, because they're the ones who are getting parents who are looking at them going, "You want me to fill out what for a newborn?" And it's the nurses, it's the administrative aides who are getting the real significant kickback on this policy.
Sure. I thought when I first heard this particular hospital system, and I won't mention them because it's impugning them and it's not their fault. I heard this and I thought, oh, just another leftist woke guy at the hospital trying to be liberal and politically correct and imposing this. Then I realized, no, this is a New Jersey law. They're just trying to protect their backside so that they don't get sued or get in trouble with the state. So I don't blame the hospital. I blame, let's get right down to it. Let's blame our liberal governor who signed it in without reading it and making sure that the stupidity of it wouldn't go through. But then again, it is Governor Murphy. We can't expect too much. New Jersey State Senator Holly Schifese, you're awesome. Please come back again. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. And please let us know the senators, likely Democrats, who will not sign on to your amended bill. We want to know. Have a great day.
That I will. Thank you.
Welcome back to ONNJ Jersey Mornings. I'm Ken Rosato. It is 44 degrees now. 8:15 is our time, and we're taking your calls at 888-658-0234. 888-658-0234. Partly sunny, a little cooler today, becoming breezy, cloudier, grayer, and it's going to stay that way for the next few days, at least gray. Highs in the mid-50s for today. We go straight to meteorologist Mike Pavetta. He has the full Garden State forecast. Good morning to Mike.
It was nice to be wearing those shorts the last few days, wasn't it? Felt fantastic with the dry weather, the clear air. Now, kind of got to go back to bundle it up and bringing back the winter coat because, Ken, it's going to feel chilly, I think, as we head into each afternoon. 30s only by tomorrow afternoon and maybe reaching 40 in some spots. So it's kind of a step down each and every day, with today only reaching the low 50s in New Brunswick and Matawan. But again, without the sun, it makes it feel even cooler. Long Branch chillier at 47 degrees. With those winds, it's all due to that wind direction. That northeasterly breeze pulls in the clouds clouds and also that cooler air, specifically at the coast. So a 25-mile-per-hour wind out on LBI will make it feel much cooler, like it's only in the upper 30s throughout tomorrow afternoon. And with those winds being pretty persistent, gusting anywhere from 20 to 25 miles per hour, gusty enough to make it feel colder, and then it sticks around and helps those clouds kind of thicken up over the next several days. So we'll enjoy the remainder of sunshine that we have today, but those clouds will likely slide in through this afternoon, giving our sky that kind of milky white opaque appearance by late this morning, and then full on gray beyond that. It's all due to that weather system that moves in that prevents us from warming up today. We'll stay in the 40s and hold in the 30s later tonight, and likely stay in the 30s even tomorrow for most of the state, save for the southwestern corner of New Jersey. You only get to the 40s, but it stays chilly even through Friday. Now, Friday is a mixed opinion on whether or not there's going to be sun. There could be a few breaks at best, but overall, we'll likely hold in the 40s and maybe make it to 50 with mostly cloudy skies at this point. So we'll split the difference. Saturday, the clouds return, the low clouds at that, giving us that overcast and gray sky. I think by Sunday, while a southwesterly wind pulls in some very warm air on Sunday morning, we'll be starting the day in the 60s and staying there much through the afternoon. Once we get to the evening hours, that's when our next round of rain comes in, significant rain. Could be some thunder and storms that come in throughout the course of the evening. And as that front pushes through, it finally clears out the clouds. By then, it'll be about 5 days of solid gray that creates a very pretty scene by Monday. Great news for the parades on St. Patrick's Day, with lots of dry weather but cooler air that returns into the first few days of next week. So with that drying, cooler trend for next week, I think we'll see it ultimately warm up again. Take some time, but until that time, look how these temperatures hold in the 60s on Saturday, nearing 70 by Sunday. But it's a very persistent southerly wind. This doesn't include those gusts. So a sustained wind out of the south at 17 miles per hour on Sunday. Gusts could go as high as 40 or even 50 miles per hour by Sunday afternoon. So a very gusty finish with some storms on Sunday evening, but it all clears out just in time. The luck of the Irish, Ken, strikes again. So some good news there for those attending any parades after this weekend.
Always a fun time with the St. Patrick's Day parade. A good time. Let's leave the imbibements at home and go and enjoy the day. And remember, St. Patrick cast the snakes out of Ireland. Of course, tell your Irish friends that St. Patrick actually was a cleric from Rome. And well, okay, that's a whole.
No, yeah, we're not going to go there. We're not going to go there.
All right, but he was not Italian. Everyone thinks he was like the Italians have said, Patricio, he was Italian. No.
Come on, we have St. Joseph's Day on Wednesday.
And we always forget about that. Get your hot cross buns. They're available in all your local ShopRites. You know that. All right. Thank you very much, Mike. We appreciate you, buddy. We'll check back in just a little bit. It is now 44 degrees, 8:19 is our time. And let's bring up, if we can, Gerald, this is the Garden State Parkway at exit 145 mile marker. No, I'm wrong. It's not. This is my fault. This is the Turnpike, Mount Laurel Township. This is mile marker 34.3 south of the Interchange 4 Plaza. This is as the cars are exiting for Route 73, the traffic light there usually. So this goes on and off. It'll move and then it'll stop, move and stop. You can see right now it's a little bit heavy. This time of day is not unusual. In Mount Laurel Township, again, coming off of the New Jersey Turnpike. Now we do have a mention on the Garden State Parkway. We do have a crash on the southbound GSP north of exit 144 in Newark. All lanes are open, but again, a little tap of the brake as you go through there. Tractor trailer fire 287 northbound, south of exit 66, Route 17 in Mahwah. All lanes remain closed. That's been a mess for about an hour and a half. Crash on Route 1 and 9, Tunnelly Avenue, northbound area of Secaucus Road, or Secaucus as it is said locally, in North Bergen Township. One left lane is closed. Still have that emergency construction and sinkhole repair I-80 eastbound at exit 34, Route 15 in Wharton. All lanes are closed and everybody's being detoured off. And we have about a 35-minute delay headed into Manhattan on the GWB, about 25 minutes at both the Holland and the Lincoln tunnels. It is now 44 degrees. Our time, once again, 8:20. And it is time for politics from Trenton, explained like nobody else can. Here is New Jersey Globe editor David Wildstein with the Inside Edge.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Inside Edge. Today is Wednesday, March 12th. In-person early voting took off like gangbusters in New Jersey last year. Democrats and Republicans finally embraced the convenience of voting on a machine, just not having to wait till election day to do it. And in 2024, New Jerseyans cast about 1.2 million early votes at polling locations in advance of election day. That number was about 36% more than vote by mail ballots. And in total, uh, a little more than 50% of all votes were cast in advance of election day. And we now have evidence that electronic polling books work, that they're efficient, that they're reliable. And one of the things we learned is that voter registration is sort of portable, in the sense that a voter could go pick any voting center early in their home county and go vote. So it begs the question: why can't voters do the same thing on election day? Why can't you choose your own polling location? And, like everything else dealing with elections in New Jersey, the answer is complicated, but then again, it's really not, if the state is willing to invest in the infrastructure to do it. Remember, New Jersey has overly and sometimes unnecessarily complex systems. Like different counties have different hardware and software voting systems. So the last step, the hardest one to accomplish, will be to allow you to vote anywhere in New Jersey on election day. That'll come last. But election voting machines they need to be programmed. They need to be able to print paper ballots to ensure that every voter is getting the correct ballot. But when you think about it, every one of us at some point in the day go online, and we're dealing with a system that is completely personalized. Some people think that progress in elections comes in baby steps, and that's not an unreasonable way of looking at things. There is a bill in the legislature right now. It's called the Voter Convenience Act, and it allows voters to vote at any polling location in the municipality they live in. Jim Beach is sponsoring in the Senate. Avi Schnall and Rob Karabinchak and Garnett Hall have it in the Assembly, and there are Republican co-sponsors in both houses. It's not my role to endorse a bill. I don't do that. I won't do that. But sometimes it's my job to just get people thinking about what comes next, how we can build better mousetraps that make voting easier and ultimately maximizes turnout. That's everything for today, and I'll be back tomorrow.
Thank you very much, David, for that. It is 8:24. House Judiciary Democrats are looking into whether the Trump administration is acting illegally in efforts to revoke the green card of a Columbia University grad student who's become a face of campus protests over the Israel-Hamas war. House Judiciary Ranking Member and very liberal member Jamie Raskin released a statement saying, quote, "All Americans, including those who strongly disagree with Khalil's speech, should be outraged by this brazen attack on our fundamental freedoms," close quote. The Trump administration moved to deport Khalil, who is Palestinian, for his participation in the anti-Israel demonstrations at Columbia, something he should not have been doing because he was no longer a student there and had no right to be on campus at all. But a federal judge ordered Monday that the administration, or at least for now, could not yet remove him from the country pending review. This is just going to delay things a few weeks, and he'll get slapped down like all the other district judges who are just being gnats against President Trump. They just want to put in their 2 cents and try to have federal impact on something they do not have jurisdiction over. Under federal immigration law, the administration can remove a foreign national from the United States. They're not citizens. if the Secretary of State deems the person will cause, quote, potentially serious adverse foreign policy consequences, something that the Secretary of State, Rubio, already said is the case. So this is just a pain in the neck judge who will, again, in a couple of weeks, this will all be pushed aside. But nonetheless, it delays things. 826, the Republican-controlled House of Representatives has voted to approve a stopgap spending measure that would keep the government running for at least 7 more months. Now the measure goes to the Senate, where at least 60 members must approve it. All but one Republican in the Senate will support the resolution, meaning if no Democrats cross the aisle to support it, there would be a government shutdown, but you can't blame the Republicans because it would be on the Democrats. Don't let the liberal legacy media try to blame it on the Republicans, because all the Republicans passed it in the House and all the Republicans are trying to pass it in the Senate, but you do require a certain number of Democrats, 7 exactly, to cross the aisle in the Senate. And if they don't, you got to blame them. Can't blame the Republicans. By the way, there's a story that Elon Musk posted this morning on his platform X, talking about the fact that Doge found some 200,000 found and canceled, or at least stopped 200,000 government credit cards. A number of them apparently have not been used. Some of them should not have been issued. And a number of them have very questionable charges on them. But people from all agencies, including the Department of Interior, will find that their credit cards, if you work for a federal agency, your credit card may be canceled. So beware before you go and use it today. If you work for a federal agency, double check to see that your government issued credit card works or not. That is because Elon Musk says some $20 billion in waste and fraud appears to be spent on government credit cards every single year. 827, failed Democratic Georgia gubernatorial candidate Stacey Abrams facing condemnation, at the very least, after she appeared to defend a $2 billion initiative using your tax dollars under the Biden administration's EPA to purchase green energy appliances for residents of a small Georgia town. The organization, Power Forward Communities, was connected to Abrams. She backed it. It received $2 billion in tax dollars in 2024. It was only a few months old. If you're a few-month-old agency and you apply for $2 billion, if you did it, they'd laugh at you. Somehow, when it's Stacey Abrams, they got the money. They only had $100 in revenue when they were first opened. And with $100 in revenue, somehow they were qualified to get $2 billion tax dollars in grants. In fact, they were so unqualified that the grant agreement required the NGO to complete a how to develop a budget training session within 90 days because they were so green at it. But Abrams defended the grant, saying that she was able to purchase new energy efficient appliances for everybody in this little town in Georgia. I don't know why it is the responsibility of you and me and the federal government to pay for the personal appliances in people's towns. But when doing the math, this would mean those appliances cost each household tens of millions of dollars. Tens of millions to get a new stove and a new refrigerator. Must be some stove and refrigerator. So where's the rest of the $2 billion? EPA Director Lee Zeldin is trying to find out. The $2 billion award was given to Abrams in the last hours of the outgoing Biden administration. It is now 43 degrees at 8:29. Phone lines are open, taking your calls at 888-658-0234. And when we come back, meteorologist Mike Vavetta says partly sunny, cooler, becoming breezy and cloudier later, highs in the mid-50s. The full Garden State forecast in a moment. You're watching ONNJ Mornings, seen daily at ONNJ.com, Roku, Fire TV, News on Samsung TV Plus, Apple TV, YouTube, Facebook, and X. And now streamed live on Rumble and Twitch at twitch.tv/OnNJ. And we're coming right back. Very good morning. It is Wednesday, March 12th, 2025, 43 degrees at 8:32. I'm Ken Rosato. Welcome to ONNJ Mornings. Partly sunny, a little cooler today, becoming breezy, cloudier later, basically a gray day later. Highs in the mid-50s. Meteorologist Mike Pavetta has the detailed Garden State forecast. Good morning to you, Mike.
Hey, Ken. Very good morning to you. Look outside right now and go, wow, it's pretty sunny. Looking nice, but it's not going to get all that warm as compared to days past, even though we're starting off several degrees milder than this time yesterday. A lot of clouds rolling in through the course of the day, giving us an overcast sky by this afternoon. Gusty breezes as well will make it feel cooler, in addition to it actually only reaching the upper 40s and low 50s, and it stays chilly throughout the end of the week. So with today's forecast cooling off only into reaching the upper 50s in South Jersey, if you head toward the beach locations, you'll notice a cooler feel there from Atlantic City and Ocean City, with that reaching basically our average high of 49 degrees. Our sunset happening nice and late now at 7 p.m. So almost approaching that vernal equinox where it's equal days, equal nights, get 12 hours of sunlight and 12 hours of night. But our forecast points to more of an overcast scene going forward. No matter how much sun is above those clouds, it'll look pretty gray going into the next few days, but not all that wet. The rain chances are low and predominantly just on isolated parts of northern New Jersey later on tonight. Have to wait until Sunday for that widespread rain with a thunderstorm line of storms that comes through by the end of the day. Air quality looking good today thanks to that wind off of the water, and I think the AQI level, the air quality index, will improve. We'll probably drop back to the good levels, green, by day's end, and you can already see some of those numbers there now. In terms of the forecast for the next several days with the cloud cover, you can see where it comes from, just kind of hovering off to the west with another round of cloudy weather that takes over in through the end of the week, but a mild shift with those winds coming in from the south and west due to that front that passes by brings in more wet weather through the course of the late morning and early afternoon Sunday, but the line of storms comes in on Sunday evening, and that's what gives us those last round of gusty winds. Gusts could be as high as 50 miles per hour in advance of those storms later Sunday. The 7-day forecast is plenty of rain forecast for Sunday afternoon, but until then it's dry, cloudy, but cool. Temperatures only hold in the 40s. Have to wait until next week to climb back into the 60s with that sunny weather. I think the sun starts off nice and dry on Monday. Limited chances of rain for St. Patrick's Day. And then throughout the day, Friday and Saturday, with those clouds around, you'll notice a milder trend, but very windy on Sunday. You will really feel the winds down the shore, especially with that southwesterly wind coming in, gusting again upwards of 50 miles per hour before the storms push through. And then still a little bit cooler, but sunny nevertheless by Monday and Tuesday of next week. So a pretty decent way to start off next week with some clear air around, looking very pleasant. But until then, get ready for the gray sky, Ken. Looking a little gonna look a little like the middle of winter again, with those 30s as the highs and the cloudy skies. But you know what? We've got some milder weather ahead.
It's not spring yet. We're close. We keep
Not
thinking
yet.
it's spring. We've been taught
Very
it's
close.
meteorological spring, but Mother Nature's like, I laugh on you, you meteorologist. You think that it's a spring. You didn't know Mother Nature spoke like that, did you? I'm just letting you know.
I thought
All
it
right,
spoke
Mike.
more like that. What was it? That comic dog that Conan O'Brien have? I poop on you. Kind of that
I
thing.
poop on you. Ha ha ha. That's the way Mother Nature speaks.
Triumph,
Triumph.
the
Yes.
comic dog.
Triumph. Thank
Thank
you
you,
very much,
Gerald.
Gerald. I sound like La Befana. Thank you. I appreciate that. Only a few of us will get that reference. I appreciate that very much. All right. Thank you very much, Mike. Enough of our silliness. We move on. We have a couple of traffic things to point out. This is just a little volume to point out here right now. You're looking at the Garden State Parkway. This is going in the area of Bloomfield, New Jersey, north of exit 148, mile marker 149.2. So you can see on the right-hand side, that's the northbound side, southbound on your left. So the southbound is moving a little better to the north. You could see a little bit of just volume delays right now, but not caused by anything specific. We have some problems right now with a crash on New Jersey's Route 21 northbound at Chester Avenue in Newark. Two right lanes are closed, so that's causing a big problem going through Newark. We have a crash now on the GWB upper level eastbound ramp at exit 1A. One right lane is blocked, causing about a 40-minute slowdown into Manhattan. We have a crash on Route 4 westbound west of Kinderkamack Road in River Edge. A right lane is closed there. Tractor trailer fire. It is still being cleaned up. It's on 287 northbound south of exit 66, Route 17 in Mawa Township. All lanes are closed right now. So that's still a mess. And we have an emergency construction situation still at that sinkhole. I-80 eastbound at exit 34, Route 15 in Wharton. All lanes closed, people being detoured off. It is 8:37, 44 degrees. The NFL free agency frenzy is officially underway, and teams all across the league are making big moves to reshape their rosters for the 2025 season. From the blockbuster signings to surprising trades, the action certainly heating up, and we now get joined by Lance Meadow, national sports talk show host and play-by-play announcer, and our dear friend, to break down all the chaos and what it means for the season ahead. Good morning, and thanks for getting up with us again, Lance.
Absolutely, Ken. Thanks so much for having me on. Appreciate it.
You bet. Well, the NFL free agency kicked off this week, and we've already seen some major names switching teams. What's your big picture take on how things are shaping up so far?
Well, to your point, it's been extremely active. This is one of my favorite times of the year because teams can shift their personnel and rosters can transform within the span of days. I think, to me, the biggest takeaway is clearly there's been an emphasis on the trenches, and that's where it should be, Ken. If you're going to redefine your team, it's going to come on the offensive line as well as the defensive line. And I think there are two teams that jump out to me in particular that have followed these trends. Number one, the Chicago Bears. This is a team that needs to revamp its offensive line if it has any hope of duplicating what the Lions offense did last season, now that they brought over the Lions offensive coordinator as their head coach. And they go out, they acquire Jonah Jackson, who was previously with the Lions from the Rams, and they acquired Joe Thuney from the Kansas City Chiefs. So you're talking about you're helping the interior of your offensive line and the exterior to make sure that your young quarterback can thrive. And that, of course, is Caleb Williams. So I thought those were two home run acquisitions by the Bears. And they bring in Grady Jarrett on the defensive front, who the Falcons just let go of, who's an interior defensive lineman that also has a knack for going after the quarterback. So I really love those moves across the board. And then I think the Vikings, coincidentally, also in the NFC North, right up there with what the Bears have done. They also addressed the offensive line. They brought in Will Fries and Ryan Kelly from the Chiefs to help the interior. Vikings had a good season with Sam Darnold last year, but I think the offensive line play was a bit of a roller coaster. So that needed to be addressed. And then they acquired Jonathan Allen from the Commanders on the defensive front, a really good run stopper who can also, once again, get pressure on the quarterback. So those two teams, I think in particular, have stood out in terms of how they've gone about navigating the early stages of free agency.
And Lance, of course, we're a New Jersey-based channel. So what's happening with the Giants, the Jets, and the Eagles?
Well, I had to set the stage for that. I wanted to go out of town first before now we hit on the New Jersey market. With respect to the Giants, I think the Giants have had a nice start to free agency because they've addressed major issues on their roster, Ken. And you're talking about the secondary. That was problematic last season. Number one, they could not take away the football. They were not an opportunistic defense. And teams attacked their young secondary. So they went out and they got Javon Holland from the Miami Dolphins, who's been an extremely active player over the course of his career. He actually had a 99-yard touchdown off an interception at MetLife Stadium 2 years ago on Black Friday when he was going up coincidentally against the New York Jets. So you could argue he's familiar with the dimensions of MetLife Stadium. But I love the fact that he's worked with a variety of different defensive coordinators. This is going to be his fourth defense in the span of 4 seasons. Despite that, his numbers haven't dipped. And they lost Xavier McKinney a year ago when he signed with the Green Bay Packers. So now you're bringing in a safety that could play near the line of scrimmage, can play on the back end, can take the football away. He'll be able to anchor Shane Bowen's defense. And when Shane Bowen, who's the Giants defensive coordinator, was in Tennessee, he relied on a safety by the name of Kevin Byard. That was the heart and soul of his defense. So it's no surprise that now a year into the Giants defense, he's saying, hey, let's duplicate that. Then the Giants also went out and got Paulson Adebo from the New Orleans Saints, veteran cornerback. The common trait, by the way, Ken, between both of these players is they're coming off of rookie contracts. They were both drafted in 2021. So you're getting them young and you're getting them when they're ascending, which I think is very important when it comes to free agency. Adebo, numerous passes defensed over the course of his career. 2 years ago, 18 passes defense. You like to see that. Coming off an injury last season in which he broke his thigh bone, but overall pretty durable during the course of his career, and a guy that's comfortable being aggressive, playing out on an island, which is good because he's going to be exposed to some really top-line wide receivers within the NFC East. So the Giants really helped their cause on the back end and brought in Roy Robertson Harris, a veteran defensive lineman up front who could help complement Dexter Lawrence in stopping the run and getting after the quarterback, as well as Chauncey Golston, who also is coming off a breakout campaign with the Dallas Cowboys when he had 5.5 sacks. So not huge names, but that's not what wins in free agency. The Jets, of course, their big splash was they addressed the quarterback position, and they went out and got Justin Fields from the Pittsburgh Steelers, who doesn't have a lot of wear and tear on him because Russell Wilson ultimately played the bulk of the snaps last season. And here's a new environment, a new scheme. You love Fields' athleticism. I think the question is, will the efficiency in the passing game follow? That's been the one aspect that has, I don't want to say it's been troublesome, but it's been a bit of a question mark throughout his career. I like the age. I like the athleticism. He has yet to prove, though, can he be that pocket passer that thrives? The Jets are taking a chance on that. If the offensive line protects him, that could be a nice bang for your buck signing from the Jets' perspective.
Would you say that's the one head scratcher, if you will, the most surprising decision?
Well, I mean, I think it's a bit of a surprise because, once again, there's not a proven track record with respect to his production as a passer. But the Jets need a quarterback, so I'm not surprised that they went in that direction. I guess I'm a little bit surprised that Aaron Glenn in year one is saying, okay, I'm not going to go with necessarily the proven veteran. I'm going to go with perhaps the up-and-comer, especially when you say to yourself, okay, you're inheriting a team that has had issues under center, right? The biggest problem for the Jets is there hasn't been stability at that position. They have brought in a few veterans, but it's been a revolving door. So I thought maybe Aaron Glenn would aggressively go after somebody who he's seen and has done it year in and year out. But I think what you also have to understand, Ken, is when you're a first-year head coach, you do have a little bit of leeway and flexibility from the standpoint of you figure they're going to give him at least a season or two. I know you can't take that for granted with respect to life in the NFL, but hard to believe that even if things don't go according to plan this year, that they're going to all of a sudden change their game plan. So he may be saying to himself, okay, hey, let's bring in a younger quarterback who we can work with, who we can still mold. We have time there. And if things can click and we can implement a scheme and a game plan we like in year one, then think about where we can start with the foundation that we'll have in place in year two. So when you take into consideration those factors, not necessarily surprising. I think if there is any surprise, I look at the Seahawks going with Sam Darnold and saying, hey, we're going to duplicate what the Vikings did. Because if you're going to bring in a guy like Sam Darnold, you better make sure your house is in order. Nothing against Sam, but Sam thrived in Minnesota because he had the weaponry, he had an offensive line, and he had a running game. If you're a team and you're on the fence with all those factors, that to me is really rolling the dice. And Seattle, moving on from DK Metcalf, Geno Smith, I just wonder whether or not they could duplicate what Minnesota put forth last season.
I love your analysis. I love your. I just am always blown away because I was never a sports fan growing up, and I just got to tell you as an aside, just to hear you without a fumfer, you're like a walking encyclopedia. To be so informed on every player, every team, and have such brilliant analysis with such logic blows me away every time you're on. I love having you on. National sports talk show host and play-by-play announcer Lance Meadow, total pro. We love you. Thank you for joining us this morning. Great to have you on as always.
Well, I appreciate the compliments. The check is in the mail, Ken, until, of course, you owe me more in the next spot coming up here. Just a warning.
Done. You got it. All right, Lance. Have a great day, buddy. Thank you again. We appreciate you.
You as well. Take care, Ken.
Thank you. It is now 43 degrees, 8:46, partly sunny, a little cooler today, becoming breezy and cloudier later. We're going to have more highlights, by the way, of sports in just a minute. We'll tell you all about that. That's going to be with our Mike Black. Meteorologist Mike Favetta, though, will return with your full Garden State forecast, and we'll take your calls at 888-658-0234. You are watching on New Jersey Mornings. Don't go away. welcome back to On New Jersey Mornings. It's Wednesday the 12th. I'm Ken Rosato at 8:49, and we're taking your calls. Maybe one call if we'd sneak it in. We have a lot of calls today. None, in fact. 888-658-0234. Don't be shy. 888-658-0234. Partly sunny, a little cooler today, becoming breezy, cloudier later. Highs in the mid-50s. Mike called it gray. Let's go to meteorologist Mike for Vet of the Garden State Forecast. And Mike, I'm noticing something because of clouds in my part of New Jersey. The temperature has been literally at that 43 to 44 degree spot all morning. Usually it starts to go up by now. Nope. Hasn't budged.
It's flat. That'll be the case, especially when we have this little bit of a breeze pushing in that cooler air, preventing from those temperatures from rising. So limited solar insolation today. New word for you on a Wednesday, especially with the cloud cover that keeps us pretty gray into this afternoon, preventing that nice warm up that we've seen every day for the last few days. Today only make it up to the mid 50s from Wayne and Hackensack. Feeling chilly with those clouds that really linger right through the rest of this week into the weekend. It takes a wind shift that blows in warmer southwesterly breezes by Saturday night into Sunday that helps us get back into the 60s, albeit it will be with more clouds, and then that line of storms you saw rush through by Sunday evening. Clearing by St. Patrick's Day on Monday, and plenty of sun sticks around for Tuesday. So a pretty decent week ahead for next week, shaping up to see lots of sun each and every day, also a milder feel. But beyond the rain that comes in on Sunday evening, it's going to be dry other than that. So the drought monitor will likely be persistently dry, especially with that extreme drought continuing down in southern New Jersey. We've seen a bit of an improvement thanks to some of those showers over the weekend, but still, wet weather is not really going to be found for quite some time here across New Jersey, at least persistently, as this is typically a dry part of the season, and we're still at a almost 1-inch rainfall deficit up in northern New Jersey. The good news is the milder weather returns and lasts through the end of the month. This is the temperature outlook for the last week of the month, and look how warm it will be in most of the Northeast. Above average chances of having warmer weather. So it could mean 10 degrees above average, but it also could mean 1 degree above average. Keep that in mind. Same for you with the rainfall chances, slightly higher than average rainfall chances. The good news is that with the cloudy weather returns, some cooler weather into the weekend, and then we clear it out by Sunday with that line of storms later Sunday evening to a dry Monday and Tuesday. I'll take away that rain in the next weather update. Bringing back lots of clear sky going into Monday and Tuesday of next week, but the shore points sees that cooler trend as well with the wind off of the water. Ocean temperature still 39 or 40 degrees, keeping it cool until we see that milder trend next week for the shore points as well. So we've got lots of clouds over the next several days, a little bit of rain by the end of the weekend, but lots of sun returning for next week. So some good news to get out and enjoy another sunny Monday and Tuesday ahead for next weekend.
All right. Thank you, Mike. I'm voting for not 1 degree, but 20 degrees above normal. How about that? Above average.
Okay.
Let's keep our fingers crossed. I'll ask Mother Nature, and she'll laugh on me. I laugh on you, Rosato. You and your stupid desire of 20 degrees above normal. Have a lovely day, sir. We'll see you tomorrow. All right. And we do have some traffic to talk about. We have a crash on Route 21 northbound Chester Avenue in Newark. 2 right lanes closed. A disabled tractor trailer now on the GW Bridge. Upper level westbound by the Trans-Manhattan Expressway in Manhattan. 1 right lane is blocked. That's causing some big delays through there. Earlier incident, 287 northbound south of exit 66, Route 17 in Mahwah. The left shoulder is closed. The left shoulder remains closed as they need to remove the tractor trailer. That's from that earlier fire. And we have an emergency construction zone still. That's on I-80 eastbound at exit 34, Route 15 in Wharton. All lanes remain closed. Everybody detoured off. Delays on 21 northbound from north of East 3rd Avenue to Chester Avenue in Newark. Travel time's about 10 minutes. That's just because of delays. And we have delays on the I-280 westbound by east of the Stickle Drawbridge in Harrison. Again, that is just due to volume at this hour. It is 8:53. Some big games at Kean University. On New Jersey's Mike Black shows us some highlights from a softball doubleheader and men's lacrosse.
Nikki Lesnia threw a complete game in softball's doubleheader against FDU Florham, tallying 7 strikeouts. The Cougars offense got going in the fifth when a sacrifice bunt by Gina Malik led to a Devils throwing error, allowing Kylie Allen to score as Kane would hold on and win Game 1 2-1. In Game 2, Allen broke a tie game with an RBI single. The go-ahead run was part of an 8-run fifth inning as the Cougars battled back from a 3-0 deficit. Maya Thompson's RBI single later in the inning was her 10th hit on the season and helped clinch an 11-3 victory for Kane in Game 2. During the first quarter of the men's lacrosse 13-7 victory over Misericordia University, attackman Nick Thorne found the back of the net. Nick had 4 goals that game and now has 17 on the season. It was sophomore attacker Aaron Arbor's long shot goal to give Kane a 5-3 lead in the second after a quick burst of acceleration to lose his defender. In 6 games thus far, Arbor has notched 11 goals for the Cougars. At the start of the third, with Kane up 9-4, midfielder Tyler Jarvis scored his 4th goal of the year and the Cougars' 10th on the evening. This brought Jarvis's tally to 4 goals on the season. The win on Wednesday improved their record of 4-1 and was their 4th straight victory on the season.
By the way, we do have some news to tell you about. We just got word that apparently the Department of Education will be shutting down its headquarters and firing half its staff. Now, before everybody clutches their pearls and screams and says, children, the federal Department of Education does almost nothing. They really just dole out cash and they take a look at guidelines, etc. So this will not impact your child's school at all. Like you won't even notice. And then in about 3 months, you'll scratch your head and wonder, why were we spending tens of billions of dollars on this federal agency? Because prior to 1980, we didn't have a U.S. Department of Education. And it's just been creeping up with budget, creeping and creeping and creeping, and more money has been spent on it. So now 50% of the staff will be laid off and the headquarters will be closed because just running the building costs millions of dollars a year. A lot of the money will go back to the states, and the states will just have a little bit more responsibility, but the states basically run the school systems now. So before you clutch your pearls, and the teachers unions, I'm sure the liberal teachers unions are all screaming, it's not going to impact your kids' education that much. You'll see. The only people really screaming about it are the arch liberals and the union members. No one else really cares. Money goes back to the State Department of Ed, which every state has one, will continue running the schools like they always have. 8:56, looks like New Jersey-based Jersey Mike Subs will sell a big bite of the company to the powerful private equity giant Blackstone. According to NJ Biz, a spokesperson for the Manasquan-based sandwich chain said the firm completed its acquisition of a majority stake in the company January 16th. The transaction was reportedly valued at $8 billion. Jersey Mike started as a small sandwich shop in 1956 in Point Pleasant and has now grown to over 3,100 yummy locations throughout the U.S. and Canada. The temperature right now is 43 degrees. It's been hovering between 43 and 44 in this part of northern New Jersey all morning long. This is exactly what meteorologist Mike Favetta said would happen. It looks like we're going to have partly sunny skies today, a little cooler, but becoming breezy, cloudier, gray, as he said. Highs only in the mid-50s, and it's going to kind of be gray between now and the weekend, with rain coming by Sunday. So that's what we're going to get. But next week should be a little bit nicer. So look forward to that. And that is On New Jersey Mornings on your Wednesday, March 12th. I'm Ken Rosato. Remember, you could stream us on ONNJ.com, Roku, Fire TV, News on Samsung TV Plus, Apple TV, YouTube, Facebook, and X. We stream live on Rumble and Twitch. Go to twitch.tv/OnNewJersey. Catch you tomorrow morning at 7. Tell all your friends about us. Till then, have a wonderful day. Thanks for joining us this morning.